Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 190 of your favourite Formula 1 show. Yes, Jamie and I return this time out with some well-timed news. Yes, today we were going to discuss the Dutch Grand Prix, but ultimately ended up being, at least in our opinions, a fairly dull race. And then Williams decided they would make Tuesday evening rather interesting. First of all, Jamie, how are we doing?
I'm good, yes. I just cycled through the rain. So that's why I look a bit worse for wear. But I'm doing well, and I'm glad that I think probably one of maybe a handful of times on this podcast we've ever actually caught news at the right time. Genuinely minutes before we started recording. Williams just dropped this news, which I'm sure is old by the time this podcast goes out, that Franco Colapinto is replacing Logan Sargeant with immediate effect, which is quite a bombshell drop. Not so much that Sargeant has lost his seat, because I think that's been spoken about probably for the best part of a year now. But more so that why Colapinto? I mean, fair play to him, he's got a clear opportunity, but it's a bit odd.
Well, it's completely odd, isn't it? Because let's be fair, we've obviously spoke about this quite a few times, haven't we? The big one that we personally felt would be his replacement was probably Kimi Antonelli.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, will you say so?
Yeah,
I know you hated the idea, but I think it was always. It seemed like the
no, that
option.
seems logical on paper, doesn't it? Really.
That was the one that we were kind of backing. If we had to put money on it, would be the way we'd go. There were a few other options available as well. Some people were saying Mick Schumacher. Don't really understand why, and he couldn't anyway, because he's racing in Texas this weekend in World Endurance. We also who else did we have, Jamie? There was Liam Lawson, of course, as well.
He's still kicking around.
But I'm sure that'll be Red Bull going, we're going to make it awkward. No, thank you. He can't do anything. Like we said, Kimi Antonelli was kind of the big one we thought, because obviously, Mercedes and Williams, they've always had a fairly close working relationship over the last 10 years. Let's not forget as well, James Vowles and obviously Toto Wolff go way back. But it would have made a lot of sense. Obviously, Williams get, a young hotshot in the car, Italian Grand Prix, merch is going to fly off the shelves. Mercedes get their young hotshot, who is probably going to be announced at the end of this week. He gets a kind of 10 or 9 race spell in Formula 1 before he gets moved up. But we've ended up with what feels like to us a bit of a complete left field result. In Franco Colapinto, who, when you look up and down the F2 roster this year, was probably not the driver any of us had money on being the first in a Formula 1 car after Ollie Behrman.
No, exactly. And it's odd. I think we've spoken about it a fair few times that F2 this year has been a disgrace in terms of equalness.
Yep.
And, it's been impossible to judge the quality of driver, really. Because... you've got Behrman's 15th at the minute. Still 15th? Behind Pepe Marti and Richard, for sure.
Dear me.
And, drivers, Antonelli's 7th. Obviously, they're very young drivers. But you've got someone like Jack Crawford, who, no disrespect, is probably not going to be an F1 driver, in 5th. And Zane Maloney, similar boat, in 4th. Paul Aaron dropped from Mercedes last year, similar boat, 3rd.
Well, you say with Zane Maloney and Paul Aaron, they've both been decent. Zane Maloney's still quite young. He just can only seem to race in Bahrain, apparently. Yeah,
he's only had a couple of wins, and they're both in round 1. But yeah, F2 has been slightly, very difficult to judge quality of driver. So Colapinto on paper is 6th, which, isn't terrible. He's basically a rookie this season as well, because he only raced Abu Dhabi last season. So, that would make him, 3rd best rookie? Bortoleto, Crawford, Colapinto. That's not too bad.
Crawford's not a rookie.
Is Crawford not a rookie?
Crawford's not a rookie. He's been kicking around in F2 for a while, and Paul Aaron only did, I think, the last round of last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Crawford is not a rookie. You're correct.
Yeah.
You might be right about Paul Aaron too. He is a rookie effectively. But even so, 3rd best rookie then for what's his name? Colapinto. Lost his name already. Which, it's just... The thing that doesn't make sense to me is, okay, Williams, they've got this young, upcoming junior driver. Maybe they do believe in him, fair play. They've given him the run of 9 races between now and the end of the season. But they've already confirmed they're both drivers for next season. with Sainz and Albon. So it's almost like it's a test run for Colapinto. And how old is he? Is he a teenager? No, he's 21.
I think he's 21, yeah.
So he's not like unbelievably young. Well, like he's obviously not going to have a seat in 25. And then by 2026 comes around, he's 23. And he's had 9 races, which, no disrespect, I don't think he's going to do crazy well in that Williams next to Albon. He may be an upgrade on Sargeant. He may not trash it as much, but he won't. I don't think he's going to set the world alight. And you know what? If he does, fair play. You know, take this all back. But it's almost like, are you going to pick him for 2026? If he does average? I don't know. It just seems very odd all round when you've got Kimi Antonelli sat there waiting for a seat, it seems.
Or even, another alternative, obviously announced at the end of last week. Go to Alpine, give us a couple of mil, we'll put Jack Doohan in the car for the rest of the season for you.
Yeah.
Let him kind of get, a little bit of F1 experience under his belt. It feels like, we've got kind of 4 or 5 juniors at the moment waiting in the wings that are kind of ready for F1 next year, or are going to be in F1 next year, whether they're ready or not. And yet, again, a bit like the appointment of Logan Sargeant in the first place, it's kind of like Williams are desperate to showcase that they want to hire from within, even though they're not hiring from within next year, where we already know.
Yes.
I mean, for Colapinto, you're basically trying... What teams have got seats available still for next year? You're looking at, technically, VCAR.
Alfa Romeo, or
Audi. Yep, for next year, and one more. Is it both VCARs and the Audi?
I mean, Tsunoda will be in one of those VCARs, I'm almost certain.
Yep.
So you got one VCAR and one Audi. Haas have confirmed now. Alpine have. Side note, Doohan confirmed if you missed it.
Yep.
A bit underwhelming. He's not going to set the world alight either, but you know what?
Give him a
Australians
run.
are taking over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're going to have 4 next year between Australia and New Zealand, aren't we? Which is quite mad.
Well, do you
potentially,
think
if
Ricciardo and
stays.
Lawson are on the grid at the same time?
Well, if Ricciardo stays, I think Lawson will be on the grid.
I don't think it's both of those drivers. It'll be one or the other.
I reckon we could still see Lawson down at Audi.
I think Bottas looks fairly confident of that, but who knows? Yes, and that's it, isn't it? It's the Haas, the VCARB and the Audi next to Hulkenberg,
Yeah.
and I think that's it.
Yeah. 17 seats.
I guess the Mercedes technically, but
I guess that is
there.
the 4th one, isn't it? Really, yeah. But I think by the time we do the next podcast, that'll already be titled Antonelli confirmed, hopefully, because the reports are saying now, aren't they, that Mercedes any kind of push towards Verstappen they've given up on. They're just going to go with Antonelli for next year, which I think is a decent call, because I think if you don't bring up Antonelli, someone else will. I think people will move mountains if they think he's suddenly available with a shot.
Yes, yeah. Ferrari and Red Bull and McLaren arguably have all got the pulling power now to kind of take him away if Mercedes don't do something.
I mean, it does seem bizarre, doesn't it, that Antonelli isn't a Ferrari driver or anything like that, purely because he is Italian.
Well, Behrman being a Ferrari driver and Antonelli not is very odd.
Well, exactly. Yeah, you think they're both the wrong way round, aren't they?
Yeah, well, that's why I thought it was called Brit Ferrari back in the day.
You did, yeah. Fun times.
Yeah, when he was about to debut at F4, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's bizarre though, isn't it, with going back to the Colapinto move? Because let's be fair, yeah, like we said, Sargeant, he hasn't delivered. He never has delivered. He's never going to deliver. And honestly, that big shunt at Zandvoort was such a basic error in my watching. Obviously, hindsight, is a beautiful thing, but the fact you've bottomed out over that curve, it spat you out towards the grass, and you still try to keep your foot in. It's not a last-ditch qualifying effort. It's free practice, and you've put more damage onto the team's repair bill. Is Colapinto going to be that much better?
Is he going to be that much better? Well, it's hard to tell. The thing is with F1 drivers, I always kind of have in my head almost like a tier system of how good drivers are. You've kind of got your top tier, like your Hamiltons, Verstappens, Alonso's back in the day, like Schumacher, obviously Senna, Prost, all that lot. And then the B tier drivers, in my head at least, and I'm going to throw a lot of names out here, drivers like
the race
Button,
winners,
like Raikkonen, who maybe scab, like Rosberg, who can scab a title or two, but they're not going to be like a multiple world champion. And then your C-tier drivers, almost like I would arguably put like Perez and Hulkenberg and that kind of level in the. No, maybe not quite as good as Button.
Hang on a minute. You're going to
okay,
put
let's add another tier in.
a man that's never got a podium, into C tier against multiple race winners and championship threats.
Yeah, I would.
Right,
he's as good as Perez over the course of his career. But then you've got D-tier drivers, the likes of, obviously, not including the absolute nobodies like UJ Ide and Mazepin and drivers like that, but your drivers like Mick Schumacher, it pains me to say it, Joe Gonyu, the drivers who they can stick around on the grid for a couple of years and then disappear and nobody's that upset. Giovinazzi, Magnussen, what's his name, Ericsson, people like that. And I think, obviously, Logan Sargeant was probably in that tier, maybe borderline the one below. I don't think Colapinto will be any higher than that tier.
No, and I mean it's not even like he's had the chance over the summer to prepare himself.
No,
I
guess there might have been preliminary rumours, like he might have been forewarned that
Oh yeah, it might be that you've got a shot, but it's just very, very odd, isn't it? It seems like a bit of a sidestep by Williams rather than a step forward.
The ironic thing is that because of Alex Albon's DSQ from qualifying at Zandvoort, it was the first time Logan Sargeant actually out-qualified his teammate in his career.
In a real qualifying
not entering
session.
Qualifying.
Does that count? Does it? Yeah, I guess it does.
He was ahead of him on the grid, wasn't he?
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, how bizarre, how funny. All it took was an illegal flaw which you wrote your version of off.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he would have also been disqualified, and Albon would have qualified him again. How weird is that?
Very, very odd. Yes.
I mean, do we want to quickly talk about Zandvoort? I guess we could do like our predictions recap and everything like that.
Well, before that, I'm going to give you a quiz. And it's a very easy one. You can probably guess what it is already.
I'm slightly concerned.
There's 5 drivers from Argentina who have entered more than 20 races in Formula 1.
Oh no.
You've got 45 seconds to name them all. Go.
Fangio.
Yep.
Gaston Mazzacane.
Yep.
Yep. I'll take that. This is going to be really annoying.
There's definitely one more you should get.
Yeah, I know there is. Oh, man. Is it a world champion as well?
No, race winner. Yeah. There's 2 race winners and a nobody.
It's not like Gonzalez or something?
Yep, there you go.
Yep. Froilan Gonzalez?
Jose Froilan Gonzalez, 10 seconds.
Is that the last one I should have got?
No, there's one that even more obvious than that.
Oh. Can you give me their initials?
Your time's up. His surname begins with R.
Is this early 2000s?
Nope.
No. 90s?
It's like 80s-ish.
Oh, Reutemann, of course.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I knew there was one in the 80s that I was forgetting. Yeah.
Yeah, I did want to get Gonzalez. The other one was a guy called LaRory, who I've never heard of.
Is that 60s?
That is...
Or is he the Italian version of Rory the racing car?
He did... Oh, actually, I shouldn't have put him in. He entered 21 races, but only started 8 of them. He raced the Eurobrun in 1988 and 99.
Nice. Up the Eurobrun. Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk quickly about Zandvoort then, Jamie. I mean, some people have said it was a good Grand Prix. I'm not really sure why. And by some people, I mean my dad. I guess that Norris
great,
won.
Was it?
It's Zandvoort.
It was good for... If you're a neutral watching for the championship fight, I think it was quite positive because
that we might actually have one.
Was on rails that weekend.
It was disgustingly OP, but it was a track that should suit them as well. To be fair,
yeah, that is true. And Norris did deliver. To be fair to him, and his qualifying lap was top. So all this chat about one race win, kind of already in the mud. One race after the summer break, which is nice because I think everyone's being very rude to Lando Norris over the course of.
Including us
break.
On this podcast.
Including you. I haven't been that harsh to him, apart from he can't start, which is still the case.
I think he's got an absolute rocket ship of a car still. He should have more than 2 wins to his name.
But he did drop 30 seconds on Piastri, which everyone was saying Piastri's going to
Piastri was stuck behind Leclerc, though. And people go, oh, well, he's got a quicker car. But it's not that much quicker than the front. No. It's not quick enough at Zandvoort that you can make a move.
No,
which
no,
I can
it's true.
understand.
But the fact that he set fastest lap at the end on old hards as well, and dropped the biggest winning margin of the season over Verstappen at Zandvoort was quite impressive and quite worrying as a Max fan.
I mean, the title fight is hopefully on, isn't it? I mean, even if
I
Lando doesn't win it, I think we could see a fight go down. We could see a fight go down to Abu Dhabi.
We could, yeah, we could. And he's just close up 7.8 points per race, which he did get 8 points on Verstappen at Zandvoort.
Yep.
The thing
and
is,
sprints. Don't forget
I'm
sprints.
very doubtful. Sprints as well. The thing is, I'm very doubtful. You know, everyone's like, "Oh, Norris's car is so OP." You know, he could. It's still in his hands if he wins every race. We have seen one driver in history win 10 races in a row.
Oh, exactly.
And he was a multiple world champion at that point. Do you
it's
think
not
Lando
gonna
Norris, who
happen
has
in
2
back-to-back
wins
years.
ever,
But I also
is suddenly going to drop the longest winning margin of all time?
I also think, though, on the other side of that, that also requires Max to finish P2 every race, which there's going to be other tracks like Hungary before the end of the year where Verstappen and Red Bull just haven't got enough.
There are, but I do think he should have finished third at Hungary.
Well, this is what I mean. I reckon it won't. You know, it might not be that Lando can win the title, but I feel like we could go into Abu Dhabi with him mathematically still possible.
Yeah,
which would be good.
And I also think McLaren for the constructors is probably
it's down. Nailed
I
on.
think it's down. I would put money on that at this point.
Do it. Go on, Jamie. Put your money where your mouth is.
No, I would if I was a betting man, which I'm not.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Perez dropped a mediocre Grand Prix, an okay qualifying session, and a very slightly below average race, I would say.
Is it
so
controversial
if that keeps on happening,
to say that I feel like Hamilton's penalty in qualifying was unjust?
Yes. Why was it unjust?
I mean, where else could he go? Out of interest.
Not in the way. You always get those kind of penalties where it's not the driver's fault. But
when was the last time? I'm trying to think when we've had penalties for that, though.
Oh, we have. I think in Austria this year, someone got penalised for that.
Did they? Fair enough. I've always said I don't think Merck could have done a lot more anyway.
It just doesn't often make the news, a 3-place penalty, unless it's Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, I suppose. It's because he's the cleanest driver on the grid, to be fair. The best driver on the grid. Jamie, I've got a bit of a grin on my face.
Okay, why? Oh, I know why.
I'm looking over our predictions.
Yeah, I think we probably... Well, I put Lando Norris on pole, so it's looking excellent for me.
Well, what are the scores on the doors, first of all?
Oh, yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Scores were 52 to you, 48 to me, so there's 4 points in your favour.
4-point lead heading out of the summer.
I put Lando Norris on pole position.
2 points.
Thank you very much. I was very excited after lap 1 because I put Max Verstappen to win the race.
1 point.
1 point. I put Lando Norris to finish second, which was looking
1
on
point
until the Red Bulls started giving up. And I put Oscar Piastri P3, which he should have done if he was competent, which is 0 points.
Didn't. 4 points to Jamie. So you're now on the same score as I've got.
That's not too bad.
So if I've scored nothing this weekend, it's all tied.
Max Verstappen on pole position.
0 points.
No points. You put, to be fair, top 3, Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc.
Nailed it.
Thank
you very much.
Guesswork. No.
There was strategy involved in that. Thank you very much.
Why Leclerc? Leclerc should never finish third.
Leclerc, I felt this track would suit their car a bit like Monaco and Hungary.
But
and
it didn't.
Been good.
He shouldn't have finished third.
They did better than they thought they would.
Alright, so I'm on 52. And you're
just because I believe in Ferrari, even though they don't, doesn't mean I should get penalised.
You have to believe in Ferrari because your driver's going there next season.
Yeah, I have to believe in Ferrari next year, not this year, Jamie. It's Ferrari. A lot can change in that time. But I will take my 6-point buffer as we head towards Monza this weekend, which I'm sure will be eradicated pretty soon. But this year, I feel like I was a few points behind you early on, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. You've got an 8 out of 8 at one point, and that's a 6
out
of 8, so you're doing pretty well.
I'm pretty happy.
Driver of the day?
Norris.
From Zandvoort? It's probably Norris, isn't it? I want to give a shout out to Gazzy, though, because I do think he was very good.
Yeah, he did a very good job as well, to be fair.
But I will give it to Norris.
Fair enough. Race rating. It was pretty dull, wasn't it? I mean, I'm looking...
Zandvoort, innit? There's one overtaking opportunity.
I'm looking back over the course of the season. I'm thinking...
Quite low.
It was probably worse than China? Around the same as Jeddah?
Maybe similar.
I'm going to give it a 5.5. I believe that's my first 5.5 of the year.
Let me look at the ratings. I will give it... yeah, it wasn't great, was it? It was basically just an early season race, but it was a different driver in the lead.
Exactly.
I will give it a 5.5.
Okay, that's not too bad going. Not too bad going. It ranks pretty low down the order, doesn't it? In fact, I think that might
rewatch
be...
it.
What's that? Is that our third lowest score of the year?
Third lowest.
No, Bahrain is
Monaco
lower,
got 2.
Yeah, Monaco got 2 points all in all. The lowest possible score, I believe, unless it was Belgium 2021. But 11 out of 20 for the Dutch Grand Prix. I mean, we've rattled through quite a few bits and pieces, Jamie. It feels like kind of the F1 world is going to be all over the show over the next few days, but we did want to try and cram in a very, very quick... this might be one of the shortest episodes we've ever done, outside of, like, the livery
with
reveals.
A race review, yeah.
With a race review, but I think that says everything.
It wasn't really a review. Anything else to say from the race? I saw people praising Lewis Hamilton for getting exactly where he should have got.
I couldn't quite get that. Like,
finished 6th.
Yeah, he did. He came 8th. I mean, he almost beat George because did you see apparently Merck like on the radio, Mr. Tyre Whisperer?
No, what
calling George Russell.
Oh,
he had to pit
that's
again.
Kind of cringe.
Yeah.
But fair play. Hulkenberg rattling up another 11th place is very funny.
I'm just having a look, Jamie. Will this mean... Oh, no, because I guess someone's got to replace Colapinto, haven't they? I was going to say, could this be the year that Formula 1 has as many drivers as F2 in it? But, of course, it'll still be one behind, I think, annoyingly.
Yeah, because Colapinto will be replaced by someone. Unless it's someone...
Who do you reckon will replace him? Who's in the Williams Academy?
Junior?
Let's have
it
a
doesn't
look.
have to be Williams Academy either, does it? Because Colapinto was driving...
Yeah, I suppose, actually.
32.
Who's in...
Luke Browning is F3.
What team is thingy on at the moment?
Colapinto. You tested me now. MP? You don't know. He was MP last season. No, he was at MP, yeah.
So you got Tim Tramnitz, he's doing alright, I believe. Kasper Sutka, Alex Dunn. I mean, he'll just be the guy with the most money, won't it?
Probably.
Who would I like to see in the car? From F3?
From F3?
I think... Yeah, I think Luke Browning's a good shout, actually. I reckon, Luke Browning might get the call up. Dan Ticktum from Formula E, you mean?
Not from F3, but, bring him back. He was Williams Academy.
Fair enough.
Who's winning F3? Fornaroli and Mini.
Fornaroli hasn't won a race this season. Oh, I don't like Gabriele Mini.
Arvid Lindblad I'd like to see, but he's obviously Red Bull, so probably not.
Yeah, if you're not letting us have Lawson, we won't bring Lindblad up.
Oliver Goethe, I'd quite like to see him get an F2 shot.
Yeah, be good.
Why didn't he race at Spa? No, that was Solov.
Some of them have been... So the FIA, I don't know if you saw this, but if you're racing in another series, which obviously quite a few of them in F3 will...
Oh, they got banned,
and they raced at the same track, you get banned from racing in F3 that weekend.
Great.
Which I still find hilarious.
Junior Formula are just a bit weird, aren't they?
It's so broken at the moment. Again, I'd love to do a junior podcast, but it's so broken. Like, we could just spend 2 hours a week ranting and raging about it. But that's not for today. I think we'll wrap up our quick episode there, Jamie. Thank you all, as always, so much for listening. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like. Get yourself subscribed. Thank you all as well. We are closing in slowly but surely on 750 subs on the channel. And we'll be back very soon with more Formula 1 content.